Have you ever stood by a train track, watching a massive locomotive thunder by and look down? Beneath those steel rails and thick wooden ties, there's always something you'll find, no matter where you are in the world: rocks. Millions of gray, jagged stones stretch as far as the track goes, from quiet countryside rails in England to the bustling train networks of India and the US. They're everywhere. But here's the question: why? Why are the world's most advanced trains, some traveling faster than airplanes at takeoff, riding on a bed of loose stones instead of a solid slab of concrete? It turns out those rocks aren't just filler. They're part of a brilliant bit of old school engineering. They solve a massive problem: weight. Trains are heavy, millions of pounds of cargo and steel pressing down on the earth. If you place that much force directly onto dirt, it would sink and twist the tracks. Even concrete, while strong, can crack under the constant shifting pressure. So instead, we use something a little more flexible: track ballast. Think of the railway like a giant layered cake. On top, you have the rails. Under them, horizontal wooden or concrete beams called sleepers or ties. And beneath that, the stones are ballast. They act like a cushion, distributing the train's massive weight over a wider area and keeping everything balanced. But here's the twist: those tracks, they're not even fixed into the ground. They're floating. Seriously. The rails and ties simply sit on the stones, held in place by gravity and friction. The sharp edges of the rocks lock together like puzzle pieces, forming a dense, interlocking layer that grips the track tightly. This setup allows for tiny shifts and flexes, which is exactly what you want when hundreds of tons of steel are barreling down the line. It's a delicate balance of movement and stability, solid but never rigid. Now, you might wonder, why these stones? Why are they always rough and sharp? Why not use smooth pebbles or even gravel? The answer is simple: grip. Smooth stones like river rocks or marbles slide and roll over each other. That's a recipe for disaster under a moving train. But jagged stones, they bite into each other. Crushed granite or quartzite is often used because it's hard, durable, and most importantly, angular. When packed tightly, the stones don't budge. They form a rock-solid foundation that keeps tracks from shifting even on high-speed curves. But ballast isn't just about supporting weight. It also defends against two sneaky enemies of railway infrastructure: water and weeds. Rain is a major problem for any ground-based system. Dirt turns to mud, which erodes. Concrete collects puddles that can rust metal, but a thick layer of ballast, it drains water instantly like a giant natural French drain. It channels water away from the tracks, keeping the ground below stable and dry. And weeds, they don't stand a chance. Try growing roots through a bed of sharp granite shards. The ballast makes it nearly impossible for plants to take hold, which helps preserve the track's integrity. Now, here's something you might not expect. The term ballast didn't start on land. It comes from the sea. Back in the days of wooden sailing ships, when a vessel traveled empty to pick up cargo, it needed weight to stay stable in the waves. So sailors filled the ship's hold with stones. These heavy rocks were called ballast. When ships arrived at port, they dumped the stones ashore to make room for cargo. Early railway builders, in need of cheap, heavy material to support their new tracks, spotted these discarded stones and put them to use. The name stuck, and centuries later, it's still what we call the stones under our railroads. So the next time you're waiting at a station or walking past a railway, take a second look at those rough gray rocks. They're not just random debris. They're drainage systems, shock absorbers, plant blockers, and a quiet connection between modern trains and ancient ships. A simple thing, hiding a surprisingly smart story. Thanks for watching. Here at Simple History Files, we believe the smallest things often have the biggest stories. From overlooked objects to forgotten facts, history is all around us, simple, surprising, and endlessly fascinating. If you love discovering how the past shapes the present in unexpected ways, hit that subscribe button and join us on the journey. There's always more to learn, one simple story at a time.